All right, guys. Welcome to this special presentation on how to create winning slide decks. Okay, how to create slide decks that grab attention and make you look real professional. Okay, and we are going to be doing this with a free software that I use, and I often recommend to people because, well, of course, it's free, and secondly, you can create a lot of magic with it. And that's canva.com. Canva.com. So when you get to canva.com, of course, you would have to create an account if you don't have one yet. And then if you have one, you just enter your login details right up here, your username and email, your password, and then you log right in. You get that? Okay, now the moment you log in, you come into your dashboard. I've logged in already, and this is my own dashboard, and here is what it looks like. Okay, and you notice that I have a lot of designs already in here because I use Canva a lot. I use it for virtually everything. I've been using Canva now for close to 2 years or so. So they find a lot of my designs here. But once you log in for a new account, here's exactly what you're going to see, except for the list of designs under. So you notice that there are some templates here already. You see a YouTube channel. If you want to create a cover art for a YouTube channel, if you want to create a blog title image, you want to create an ebook. Now, although there are ebooks here, you can use this to create your free books, okay? But for a professional book, a book you want to sell, a book you want to use to make a difference in the world, I don't advise that you use Canva to create it. Get a professional designer to do that for you, okay? Then you want to make an image for a Facebook post. All the images I use for my Facebook posts, this is where they come from. The ones we use for our company, this is where they come from. You want to design something in A4 format, you want to make a Twitter post, you get the beautiful thing about Canva is that the necessary dimensions have been put in there for you. Okay, but this is not all there is. You see this button that says more. When you click that, it takes you to an entire list of possible designs. Now you can see Twitter posts, Square social media graphics, Pinterest graphics, Facebook posts, Facebook app, Tumblr graphics, Instagram posts, and then you see documents. You can see letters, you can see presentations, okay? You can see A4, name it, letterhead, magazine covers, certificates, resumes, yearbooks. I mean, name it. Everything is possible with Canva. We have book covers, desktop, and so on and so forth. All right, but since this presentation, I want to focus basically on how you can create killer presentations as a speaker, an author, our coach. Okay, whether it's a webinar you want to do or it's an in-person presentation, maybe you have a live event and you're going to be teaching, you're going to be training. I want to show you how to create presentations that really work. But of course, I have a freebie on I titled the common mistakes people make when they present, that I think you would love. I'll probably link to that as well in here, just by the way, okay, so that you understand a few things that you shouldn't do with your presentations. Okay, so let's go straight to the presentation tab. You see that presentation, so I'm clicking that. It opens a new design page for me, and on that page you notice some very interesting things. All right, now note the format's already designed, it's already created for me. On the top here, almost mid top here, you see presentation 16 by 9, which is the dimension I often like to use for my presentations. Now if you're going to be a guest speaker, it's important that you liaise with your host ahead of time to know what format they are projecting with. Okay, sometimes they design their projectors for 4 by 3, and some others do 16 by 9. You need to make sure what exactly it is so that your design will look exactly how you created it when it is being projected. Otherwise, you find that some parts will not be displayed and all that, and it looks very awkward. That's a very important tip there. So presentations, and we have a blank space, as you can see, a blank Canva, but on the left hand side you see a lot of goodies here. Now some of these goodies are free, some of them are paid for. For example, let's assume I want to work on this one. I can see intoxicate. I click on that and quickly it appears on my right. So this is where I can begin to work on it. And the beautiful thing about Canva is you just click and edit. It's not difficult. You see, you click and edit. I can simply, change this to intoxicate, or say right, or anything I want to. You can just make it anyhow you like it. You get it? Anyhow you like it. Now you can change your text. You can come up to the top right here, the top corner here. You see where we have fonts. You choose, there are plethora of fonts you can use here. Choose any font you want, okay, to present whatever it is you want to write. Whatever looks good for you will be a great one. Now a pro tip again is, do not use more than 2, at most 3 fonts on your presentation, and work towards uniformity. Okay, work towards uniformity. If you're using titles, a font for titles, let it be for titles. Okay, then if you're using another font for points or subheadings, let it be for subheadings. But don't mix things up. You use the same font for title, you use the same font for the body or for the point. It doesn't make sense that way, and it doesn't look good as well. Now you notice that the image here is blurred out because that's a paid image. How do I know it's a paid image? When I put my cursor here, I can see a $sign on it, right? It's a paid image, so you have to pay Canva. I think it's $1 per image to be able to use this image in your design. However, you can easily import your own image. How do you do that? Very simple. So here on the topmost left, you can, first of all, you can see our search option, which means you can search for images. All right, so I can see here search 1 million images. So let's assume I want to search for an image. What is the keyword of the image I'm searching for? Let me say I'm looking for something about writing. Okay, and now it populates different images that have to do with writing for me, and you notice that some of them are free and some of them are paid, and some of them again are for pro members. Now there are 3 levels here. There is the free, where you can use free images and use your own images all for free. Then there is the pro, where you pay for a monthly membership, you get some more access. Then there is the one where you pay once for a particular item or a particular product, and you get that just once, but of course it gets added to your library so you can use it later. So let's assume I like this image. I can see here for writing, and I want to drag it and drop it on my background. Did you see that? Very simple. Drag and drop on my background. Now you notice that it appears that this image was blurred out. It's part of the design here. Okay, so what I can do right now is go to filters, and then I can choose which filter I want. But since I want the image to appear properly, I'll say normal. Did you see that? Now I chose normal, and that automatically removed the blurred effect on that image, so I have a different background now. But let's assume that, okay, my text is not showing properly, and I'm thinking maybe I should change the color of the text, right? That's an option. So I highlight the text, come up here, you see colors, pick a color. These are some standard colors, or default colors, but then I can choose many more colors by choosing this plus button up here. It gives me a whole lot of colors I can play around with, and of course you can do just about anything. Just choose about anything. You can go around until you get a color that kind of represents what you want to do. So let's say I want something like this gold here, okay, and I choose that, and now wow, right has changed to a golden color. Another alternative, which I often prefer, is to add an overlay on the picture. Okay, add an overlay on the picture. How do you do that? On the options or menu bar on the left, I'll come and look for elements. Okay, so I choose elements, and there are several things you can pick here, which of course you want to play around with and see how they work for you. But I'm going to choose shape. I want to use a shape to overlay the image. Okay, now I choose a simple rectangle. Now I can drag this to increase the size so that it covers the whole of the image surface. I love this a lot because it helps to give a lot of effect to the design. Okay, so now it's all black. I can't see my image, but let me say I want let me pick a color for my overlay. Let's say I want something bluish. Okay, I can either choose a blue from here, or I can go up to this place and choose any blue I want, and after picking a color there, I can choose a code. I can just, you know, adjust it a little bit here. As you can see, I can get so many different blues right here. And another alternative is, if you have a particular color code in mind, you can type in the color code here and it gives you that color at once. So let's say I have a color code in mind. Okay, let's assume that I have a color code in mind, and I come here and just type my color code, and let's say the color code is FF54DB, just an assumption. Okay, so here's the color that I chose, or FF, whatever, or H45, whatever color it is, you get it? So I get this color, and then okay, if I like the color, I just click anywhere outside of the image and it stays. Now you notice that I have an image underneath and I have text underneath. Okay, but to make this visible, I click on the rectangle again, and then on the top right corner right here you see copy. That's for duplicating any element you choose. Just click an element and click copy it to duplicate it. You see arrange. Arrange is for choosing layers, but we'll come there shortly. Now you see this next transparency icon. When I click on transparency icon, I can see that this is 100%. So when I begin to move it backwards, reduce the transparency, you see that the image begins to look, wow, this is getting interesting. You see that? So it's a mixture of an image and an overlay that I really like to use. It creates a very wonderful effect. Good. Now we have this in place, but the next thing we need to do is to ensure that our text is visible. All right, but currently our text is underneath this overlay. So I click on arrange, and then it gives me the option to move the selected element backwards. Okay, so as I click backward, the text begins to come up. You notice stories must just came up. I click it again, the line just came up. The line above stories just came up. I click it again, the line below just came up. I click it again, our audience just came up, and then I click it again, and boom, right, it just came up as well. So you can do that for as many things as you want to come above your element. Okay, and that gives us a pretty cool design, just pretty cool. Okay, and of course you can choose any element from the design here. All right, so let's assume I want to create another page. I have an option to either what do you call it, I can either duplicate this. For example, I can duplicate this by clicking this icon here for duplicate. So let's assume that I want to change the color of the overlay, just to give it a little bit of a contrast or make it look different. I come up here again, change my color, choose any color that suits me, and boom, you see that? You see that? You can just about do anything. I mean, anything is possible with Canva, right? Well, let's get something really different. Okay, so it looks different. Let's get something kind of different. Awesome. So that's an example of a design. Okay, now assuming that you want to start a new design all from scratch, okay, the elements are just the same. You can decide to pick a layout that feels good here. Scroll down, there are quite a number of layouts you can choose from. If there's anyone that, and of course never forget that you can always change anything on the layout, so it doesn't have to be as perfect as you would want it. for example, let's say that I'm picking this layout, and then let that load. Good. You notice this image or images with this kind of crisscross. Okay, what that means is that this is a Canva image you can't download for free. All right, but if you opt to pay, you could actually use the image and pay for them. Each image is $1, so with 3 of them here, you might be looking at $3 to download this particular image. But what I can do is I can decide to change the images, and to do that, I either go to upload here, and you see upload your own image, or I use an image that I already have uploaded here. Now I've been using this for a long time, like I said, and I have a number of images here that I've used for different projects. Okay, so I can just choose to use just about any image. Okay, let's try something really fun. Let me use this image. How do I do that? I pick the image and I drag it into the place I want it. Now notice that it doesn't appear exactly how I want it, so I can just click on that spot, and then you see up here I have the option of cropping. So when I click on crop, it highlights the image for me, so I just simply drag it a bit so that the object I really want is what appears, so the other parts will be covered away, and then I click good once I think it's good to go. You see what it appears like? Great. And then I can change the image in this other two places too. I just pick any image that feels good to me, and let's pick the image of this my beautiful daughter when she was still a little girl. Okay, that's it. This just kind of fits in there, so I guess I don't have much of a correction to do with that. Let me pick another image here. Okay, and this also seems to fit in good, so I don't have to do anything to that. Now notice that there are some filters already included in the design. If I don't like them, I simply click on the image, all right, or the section of the image I want to change. I come to filters and then probably choose any filter that feels good to me. You get? I can just scroll here, side by side, side by side, side by side. There are quite a number of them. Pick whichever feels good. Now there's another thing you can do with images here that I love, which is called flipping. So I click on this image, for example, where I'm holding my cup of coffee, and then I click on flip. Now it asks me for options. Do you want to flip horizontally or you want to flip vertically? Now flipping horizontally means that what's on the left goes to the right and what's on the right goes to the left. Okay, but flipping vertically means that what is up comes down, what is down goes up. So let's just experiment. So let's flip horizontally. You notice that my cup of tea has changed to my left hand. You see that? It was on the right before, now it's changed to the left. This is a very great tip if you have little images to work with but you want to make them look different. So you can have some as right, have some as left. It looks really good. Or if your image is better positioned on the right when you're designing, you can do that as well. Instead of having to do left and right, use a left-sided image for the right side of your design. Now let's assume that what I want to do is to flip vertically. You notice something. Woof, that's it. It goes down. All right. So what is down goes up and what is up goes down. That's just what it means. And you can see the arrow sign to help you understand what those means as well. So is there anything we haven't touched here? Practically none. So you just have to go on and play with this. Now here is another object here. This is this color. We can decide to do a lot of things with it. You can change the color. You can here's an example. I've changed the color. Now another example is I've changed the color. I've changed the color. I've changed the color. You know, so there's so much you can do with this. Okay, now assuming you did something that you want to correct, you can do a Ctrl+Z on your computer, Ctrl+Z on your computer, and it keeps changing. Or you can, on the other hand, use the undo button, which I'll show you now. Look at the top, somewhere around the left here. You see my cursor. You see the undo. Okay, so I can click undo, 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 whichever works best for you, and it takes me back to wherever I want it to be. Okay, so that's basically how you can work with Canva. There's a lot you can do with it. Now let me show you how to use backgrounds, just in case you want to use that. I added a new page now. That's how this one came up. Now I come up here, there's an element called background, an option called backgrounds. Now you see that there are colors here already, but let's scroll down to see the background patterns that are available. These are all various background patterns. Anyone you want, just click on it, it appears on your Canva or whatever it is you're designing. Okay, you click on it, it appears on your Canva, so you can use that as the background for whatever it is you want to design. Okay, the major elements of a design will be background, images, and text. Those are the major elements of any design: your background, the images, and text. So if you were to start afresh, you want to get a background, you want to get images, and you want to get text. And to make your life easier, just go to the layouts, choose anything that looks nice to you, click on it. For example, let's click this. You click on it, it appears. Then you can easily play around with it. Either change the image to something you're comfortable with, change the text, change the whatever it is, and you get your design done. It's pretty easy, I believe, right? But of course, you have to do a little bit of some exercise and planning and all that to be able to work with this. Now here is a whole suite of presentation templates that you can use. You can choose any of the templates that works best for you, or you can also create your own. Now I like this design, but again, it's a page image in here, so you've got to change it and put your own image and then use the text. For example, let's look for one of my beautiful images here. Let's say I use this. Great example. You're gonna love this. I drag the image and put it in here, but now you notice something. The text seems to be on the side of the image that I really wouldn't want the text to appear. So I can use the option of flipping my image here. So I flip it horizontally, and guess what? I have more space on the other side where the text appears, but the text is still not visible. So I can click on the text, all right, and then come up to the color picker and pick another color for the text. You see what happened now? So just that way, I've been able to make the text more visible and more readable. Okay, Albert Einstein isn't showing up either, so I click on the text, come up here and pick another color for it. I picked white now, and now he's very visible, as you can see. You get it? So there's a whole lot you can do with Canva. Just practice and practice and practice some more. Let your imaginations go wild. You always make something happen with Canva. Does that make any sense to you? Awesome. Now when you're finished your design and it's time to download, so you come up here, you want to download it to your computer so you can use it wherever you want to use it. Now you have the options of downloading it as a PDF, which when I'm doing a presentation, I often prefer to download it as an image. You can do JPEG or PNG, but I always like images, so that I can now make the image my slide. But if you download it as a PDF, that means you're going to be using a PDF slide, which I don't like. Now some people feel comfortable with that, but I like my slide to be in PowerPoint presentation so that I can easily navigate, and I find it easier to navigate that way. Okay, so my slide can easily I can just be clicking and moving that way. So my image becomes the background on my PowerPoint presentation. Since I've designed everything in Canva, it just becomes the background. So I don't change anything, I don't type anything in PowerPoint. Everything is ready from Canva directly. So if you want to download all the images, this is what you do. Leave this all selected and click download. And guess what? It's going to prepare your download in a few seconds, and then it's going to ask you for where you want to download it, where you want to save it on your computer. Of course, depending on the browser you're using, the interface may be a little different, but you can handle this going forward, that I'm sure of. Now an alternative is, assuming you want to download just one of the designs. Let's say this is design I want to download, and I note the number now, this is number 3. So By the way, if you download all, it's going to download for you as a zip file. So you have to unzip it and then you see all the images there. But let's say I want to download only number 3. I just click here and type 3. Then I go on download. You see that? Then that particular image is what's going to download for me. So that's how you work with Canva. Let your imaginations run wild. All right. Now let me show you something else about imaginations that would help here. So let's go for elements. I often like to play with shapes a lot. If you're a designer, you know that shapes can make things different in a lot of ways. So I click this shape. Okay. Now I can change the size of this in many ways, do anything with it, you know. So let's say I do this. Now I move it to the side, you know, just for an example, and I can change the color. Let me make it something like this for uniformity. Okay, and that gives my design a new look already, isn't it? Right? Then I can even decide to go a little further and come up here to the transparency button and try and make it a little transparent, just a little. Okay, that gives it another shape already. You see that? So there's a whole lot you can do. Just let your imaginations run wild. Okay, now assuming I don't want or I don't like the circular shape, I can use a rectangle. Okay, and then give it any size that I'm comfortable with, right? And that can create just a line here and give it any color that I might like, and that's another design, right? I can even get a little more creative and try to make something out of this my rectangle. For example, the lower part of this image of this shape shows me a rotate button, so I can click that and rotate the image a bit. Good. Now I've rotated it, and then I can now bring this image. It's no longer a rectangle as it is. It gives it a different shape altogether that I can work with, right? And look at this. Look at this. Doesn't it look good? I think it does. All by just using my imagination. So use your imagination. Think of anything that you can just make happen and go for it. Okay. So that's gonna be it on our Canva tutorial, and I hope you got some value from this. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you, and bye bye.